Hello there, my friends. I'm happy to be back with you today, cooking from this small corner of rural Spain. It's autumn time, as you may have realized, my favorite time of the year, with the changing colors in the trees, the falling leaves. But it's cold now, and we need a recipe that will warm up our bodies and lift our spirits. And it's going to be a soup today. I call this soup, which I do many times in the autumn and winter, I call it my autumn cabbage soup, because cabbage being one of the most underrated vegetables of all, it's lovely for this recipe. And this is a very Spanish soup, but at the same time it has a lot of connection with those lovely sturdy, potent soups from Eastern Europe. You will see why. Here is what we're going to need, okay? You know that I present my ingredients simply, and I don't give any measurements because you can see how much you need in real time here. So I have this cabbage here, which is my favorite kind of cabbage with the curly leaves. I'll only be using like a quarter of it for the soup. We'll mince it finely in a minute. The rest of the cabbage I'm saving for tomorrow as, to cook in a different way. Okay, more veggies. I'll be using one big carrot, okay, one small onion, a regular size onion, and 2 garlic cloves, okay. Other than that, I'm using a good sized ham bone, which will add to the flavor a lot. Don't worry too much if you don't have one. You can substitute it for some chicken stock, or just water will do, okay. A small chunk of Iberico pancetta. It's the white variety, not streaky, but any kind of bacon will do. Streaky bacon as well. I'm using a bit of slightly stale bread. This is sourdough bread, which I really like. We'll be cutting it in little cubes to make the, the fried crusts, the crouton. And, okay, here's the magic. Spanish paprika, pimentón, okay, we'll be adding it to the soup. A few grains of black pepper, and our staple ingredient in Spanish cuisine, good extra virgin olive oil. This olive oil I use a lot in the kitchen. I marinated with basil and a few other spices, and it's slightly hot, and I'm going to use it for the base of the soup today, okay? Of course, for the soup we'll be using water. You can use vegetable stock if you have, or chicken stock. I'm using water today, okay? And, well, let's get ready for this recipe. I'm doing the carrot now. Okay. Just scrap the surface a bit, although it's been washed. Okay. I'm chopping up the onion as finely as I can. The color of vegetables tells you a lot about them. When you buy this kind of cabbage, make sure that it's really green on the outside, okay? Although it's lighter on the inside, because the color tells you about the nutrients and the vitamins it contains, okay? So, all right, we need to cut this cabbage finely as well. And I'm using all the outside leaves as well for this lovely soup. Okay. I'm removing the middle section here, the middle stalk, all right? Okay, so this is what I'm doing. I'm cutting it in very fine strips. You may be surprised that I never give exact weights or quantities of the ingredients in most of my recipes, but I do so because exact quantities are not really needed in my recipes, and what is much more important is the quality of the main ingredients in any recipe. Okay, so slight variations in the quantities that you use sometimes, you know, they add variety. So easy to cut this cabbage, you know, with a good sharp knife. So we've got the chopped vegetables now, the cabbage, the onion and the carrot underneath. Okay, we need a good quantity for the soup because this is going to be a whole pot of soup, you know, like for 8 people, or you know, if you want to keep it in a jar or even freeze it, it will feed from 6 to 8 people, as I said. So now finally the pancetta. Okay, I slice it finely as well. What I do is cut it in small bits, which we'll use for the base of the soup. All soups need the same thing. They need a good tasty base, they need something to give them body like vegetables, and then they need liquid, and they might need a final ingredient at the end like our crusts of bread for the soup today. So the first thing we do to create the base of the soup is a good squirt of the olive oil. Remember, this is the spicy one that I make, you know, at home, but any kind of olive oil will do. First thing we need is the sliced garlic. We're going to fry it for a bit, okay? A couple of minutes. Make sure you don't burn it, because the garlic, when it burns, you know, it changes the taste and it's not so nice. So I'm removing the garlic now because the flavor is in the oil now. I'm saving them for later. You will see what I do with them, okay? In this oil, okay, I'm putting in the pancetta now, giving it a good stir, and then the rest of the veggies can go in. You can hear the sizzling. Okay. This has to stir fry for a few minutes. We'll be adding a bit of salt and a sprig of basil, which I forgot to tell you about. Okay, sprinkle some salt on top and keep stirring. So the base of the soup is ready. You can see that we have quite a good amount of vegetables, so it's going to be a nice, thick, nourishing soup, okay? All we need to do now, okay, is to accommodate the ham bone, all right? And we're ready for the liquid, the water, okay, at room temperature. and I'm going to use as much water as the big pot will fit. So, okay, just a few grains of black pepper go in, and the magic ingredient, the Spanish paprika, the pimentón. Okay. I'm going to use this now, and I might add a little bit more towards the end. Okay? So, what we do now is put the lid on. We lower the heat, because what we want is a point of the point of slow boiling point, and we're going to leave it sitting there cooking for a good 1 hour minimum, 2 hours, as long as you have, and in the meantime you can do whatever you want, but the soup is cooking slowly and you will see how tasty it becomes. I'm cutting up the bread to fry the little crust bits and prepare our croutons for the final touch. Okay, here we are, and our tasty cabbage soup is ready. It's been boiling slowly for over 2 hours. I was, doing lots of things. I left it with a timer, and just look at it. And it smells so good. The first thing I'm going to do is to remove the ham bone, okay, because it's done the job, and all the taste of the ham, look, okay, so all the taste is there. And now for the final touch, I'm going to fry the croutons in just a spoon of oil, and then they will be the icing on the cake for our soup. Our soup is ready to be served. Heartwarming soup for the autumn. Okay, there we go. And another one. This big pot has made, like I said before, around 7 or 8 portions, okay? And now the final touch comes with a few croutons on top. All right. Okay. Couple of garlic bits, toasted, remember, on top. Okay. And a bit of extra Spanish paprika for a final decorative touch. Look at our autumn cabbage soup. Doesn't it look appetizing? I hope you really like it, like my husband and I do. Buen provecho.